what makes a world-class sales presentation? And before you think about I'm talking about door-to-door sales or slimy, sleazy tactics, I'm talking about something that people actually want to listen to that turns into results for your business. If you're a coach, mentor, or trainer and you're not getting sales or getting clients, then you don't have a business. On today's video, I want to walk you through the process and tactics that you can easily apply right away to see results in your business. For those of you that I haven't met yet, my name is Jeremiah Krakowski, and for the last 21 years, I've scaled multiple coaching and course businesses to over $20 million a year. And what I do now is every single week, I work with beginner coaches and mentors on how to scale their business. Inside of my Client Growth Accelerator program, we work with you, come alongside you, and become a part of your team to be able to get you those results. We have people every single week making milestones, making tens of thousands of dollars in their businesses. And that's what I love helping people do, is how to go from struggling or just starting to actually getting those clients. And so learning how to sell and how to communicate in sales is that big part of the process. Here's the thing. When it comes to selling, people feel very emotional, both you as the salesperson and as the prospect. And we have a stigma around the word sales. We think of the used car salesman that nobody wants to be like. First off, I want to say this, I don't want to be like that myself, and I don't teach anybody to be that way. What I teach people how to do is how to show up in their best energy authentically, and then how to turn that into a sales conversation. The best way to get sales is by making a connection with people. Duh, of course. But how do we do that through the internet, right? By video content. When you can learn how to deliver video sales presentations in an effective way, you can close more sales. And so I want to break down for you is the process, the tactics, and the blueprint for what to say and how to say it in your video presentations. There's a number of different formats that people do for video presentations, whether it be webinars or challenges or what we call VSLs. Even YouTube videos have an element of this to them. Though I don't use my YouTube videos in any way to sell people, I use these more to make a connection and to deepen the trust that we have overall. I know that not everybody who watches my YouTube videos is going to become a client, but I know that some will. And we hear frequently from our paid clients, they decided to become our client because they watched a lot of our YouTube videos. That's why I keep making them. Either way, if you want to get more sales, you got to learn how to deliver world-class presentations. And the number one thing to do is to not bore people to death. Oftentimes people are just bored and they know you're trying to sell them something. And so what you got to do is you got to learn how to completely turn that on its head and show up in a way that people actually want to listen to. You know, when people go to a movie, remember there's a difference between a good movie and a bad movie. You ever been to a really crappy movie and you're like, gosh, I wish I got my money back from this. The trailer was great, but then the movie was terrible. Unfortunately, that's what ends up happening when you don't know how to deliver a good sales presentation, is that people don't enjoy listening to it. And so you want it to be enjoyable. It needs to be entertaining and informing and connect emotionally. And the way that we do that is we really get into what drives somebody to make that decision to buy from us. People purchase on emotion and feeling more than anything else. Now, you might be watching this saying, Jeremiah, I don't purchase on emotion and feeling. I purchase on logic and truth. I hear that from everybody. They all think that. That's what we think we buy on. But here's the reality, is that we only purchase something or even have an interest in it if we feel good about it. And when it comes to your coaching business, when it comes to hiring a coach, the only reason that somebody actually hires you as a coach is because they feel really good about working with you. And it's not necessarily that you're pleasing them or that you're saying all the right things to get them to buy from you, but it's that they like the vibe and they like the energy. So the first tactic when it comes to your sales is getting that vibe and energy right. It's not a woo-woo term. It's like you actually show up as somebody that believes in themselves, that is enjoyable to listen to, and that people, like, they'd love to spend more time with you. When it comes to coaching, when it comes to online courses, people are going to spend a lot of time with you virtually and digitally and possibly even in person. And so what you're doing is you're demonstrating to them that this is going to be a great time, that we're going to have a great time together. And whenever I make sales presentations, I want it to have that in it. I show up with excitement. My body language is excited. I'm happy. I get rid of all of the distractions in my mind. And that's one of the other things to do, is to really get focused on that you're talking to the right group of people. One of the other tactics that we love to do whenever it comes to doing sales presentations is expect that the person that you're talking to is qualified already, that they're the right person. Now, we understand that not everybody's going to be qualified for our offers. In fact, the data shows that whenever we do a presentation, that only about 5% of the people who even sign up for a presentation, let's say it's a lead magnet or it's a free webinar, are even going to become any level of a client or purchase with us. And if people purchase a course or something from us, that bumps up to about 25%, and that's great, and those numbers are much better there. But even then, the majority of the people are not going to become your client. It's kind of like baseball players. Do you know baseball players actually miss? A good baseball player misses 70% of every pitch that's thrown to them. Did you know that a good basketball player misses about 40%, 50% of every shot they take? In sports, that's the analogy. And so when it comes to sales and marketing, there is a numbers game access to it. You could do all the right things. You could say all the right things. And yet most everybody that you even do a presentation to is never going to buy from you. And so understand that that's not a bad thing, that that's just reality, that's how things are. And then go to work by expecting that who you're talking to is already qualified and is the right person. Then we go into the tactics of what do we actually talk about. How do we actually deliver that presentation? So there's a 3-step structure that we use when we're doing presentations like this. And the structure goes like this. Number 1, you want to start with casting vision for where you're going. And what this means is that, we're going to do the 3 right there, that the place that you're taking them in the presentation, whenever somebody comes into a sales presentation with you, it is a journey. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And it might feel like that for you, especially if you're just starting out. Is that when you deliver a sales presentation of some kind, that we start off by pulling people into our environment, and we create the right environment and set the stage for what is going to feel really good for people. So what we do whenever we do any kind of sales presentation is we show people in their mind, we cast vision so they can see internally in their mind's eye the direction that we're going on that journey. Whatever that outcome is, I want you to look at the finish line that you're taking somebody to, not just when they buy from you, but after they buy from you. What is that vision for their life that they're going to have? And you want to help them to reinforce that. Because when you can reinforce belief in somebody, that they are able to do it, that they are able to experience it, that it's going to be fun, that it's going to be enjoyable, you have somebody hooked and you can communicate with them. Now, the first 6 minutes of any kind of presentation, that's where the highest level of engagement comes. If you can keep somebody engaged for about 6 minutes, you can talk about anything with them. And so that's really one of the most important parts of it. And the first minute is where somebody's really like getting a feel for your energy and how you feel and what you're talking about. And so understand that you've got to show up at the highest level with that. You got to have excitement. You got to have urgency. You got to have a sense of self-belief. You got to show and demonstrate that you're safe. And that's one of the other things. And when it comes to sales, when it comes to getting people to buy from you, is to demonstrate that you are a safe person for people to listen to. I'm going to talk about that a little bit at the end of this video about safety and how we can take people through that. But the way that we bring this around is we start by talking about the vision of what is going to happen. So we already know that they are coming in for something, that we promise some kind of an outcome in a sales presentation. And maybe you're wondering that. How do we actually get people to listen to a sales presentation? Again, in a lot of my videos, I talk about that, about lead generation, about marketing. You want to figure out what is the desire that somebody has that they want to listen to. And we want to separate these two, because before somebody actually comes into a presentation, that's all marketing and advertising. And so marketing and advertising is about getting somebody into a sales presentation. Once you do the presentation, this is a different game altogether, where you're actually selling to people. And there's a process to this. So we figure out, what do they desire the most? What do they want? What is that desired outcome? And we promise that to somebody by going through this. Now, in the first 33% of the presentation, we're going to be talking about how that is going to look for them. We're not going to be going over tactics. We're not going to be going over how to do the process. We're not going to be talking about our frameworks. One of the biggest mistakes that I see from coaches who are amazing mentors, amazing coaches, but they struggle to get sales, is they're way too focused on their tactics, their frameworks, and how they do things. And they're trying to get people to understand how to bring transformation when they haven't made a connection yet. And they haven't made that emotional connection. So the emotional connection happens in this beginning portion where you're bringing vision into the table. Now here's the truth. In this portion, you're also going to lose some people because they don't want this. They're impatient. They're not the right person for you. They're not qualified. And anybody who drops off at this stage of your presentation was never going to do anything in the first place, no matter what you said, no matter what you did, no matter how you structured it. And we've tested this across the board with hundreds of presentations. We tried it where we bring in the tactics in the beginning. The same, and in fact, less people engage and are even more disappointed when we do that. And so the truth is get rid of out of your mind the fear and worry about disappointing other people. Stop trying to control that aspect of the outcome and just assume that you're talking to somebody who loves you, who thinks that you're amazing, that wants to just hang out with you and spend the most amount of time with you. I imagine that I'm talking to my best clients. I have clients, they want to listen to everything that I talk about, and they love everything we talk about, and they are getting results in their business, and they're leaning in, and they're leaning forward, and they are producing results. And then I got the kind of skeptical I call them on the outside. And then listen, if that's you, again, no hate. I understand. I used to be that way a lot. You're listening to me. You're watching this. But those people are not the ones who are actually going to buy from you. So you imagine that you're speaking to somebody who just loves everything that comes out of your mouth. Whenever I make a video presentation, even whenever I make YouTube content, I just imagine that I'm talking to somebody that I love talking to, that trusts what I'm talking about. They want to hear it, and they're not going to be upset or disappointed if maybe I stutter or I say something off or I lose my train of thought or anything like that. And what that does is it allows me to actually get out of my head, out of that protective state of mind, out of worrying about what people are going to think about me, and able to show up to serve people. And the way that we serve people is by making that connection for the future that somebody's going to experience. So we show them what that future is that they're going to experience in our words, in our communication, through our storytelling, by walking people through a process verbally to where we can paint a picture in their mind of what they are going to experience. We cast vision for that. We also talk about the mindset that is needed. If we're going to go into anything practically in this section, it's going to be about mindset. The mental state of mind that people need to be inside of the presentation to be able to get the most result. Now we go into the middle portion, and this is what we call practicality. But before we get here, one of the things that we want to do is that we want to mention whatever it is that we have for sale. Just like what we have, my Client Growth Accelerator program, where I work with coaches, mentors, trainers to be able to get the most amount of clients in their business and to close the most amount of sales. You can get on the waiting list for that. You can also check out the free training that we have below. We have a free class that we put together for you. It's going to help you be able to get more clients and grow your business fast. And again, what I just did was I mentioned something that I am promoting in this video right here. I even just gave you an example of that and how you do that and how you can segue in and do a slight commercial. So right around the 12-minute mark, you notice we're about 13 and a half minutes in, right around the 12-minute mark of your presentation, you do a soft mention of whatever it is that you're going to sell. As well, at the beginning, and some of y'all didn't catch this, at the beginning of this video, I actually talked about what we have to offer, my accelerator program. I talked about how we work with our clients and what we do with them every single week to get those results. And so in that, you're already only 33% through the presentation, and you're making a connection with somebody where they know that you have something for sale. Now it's not bait and switch. Now they're not anticipating, well, what are they trying to sell me at the end of this? They already know you have something to offer, and you're not being dishonest. You're not being somebody who's trying to disguise your intentions. So that's really cool. Is that if you can show up and actually be honest and have integrity to show people what it is and how you're going to help them, then what you're able to do is you're able to mention that in the beginning portion of this presentation. So whenever you're doing a video presentation of any kind, in that beginning portion, we got vision, we got mindset, we mention what we're going to sell at the very beginning within like the first minute or two, and we do another soft mention of it right around 12 minutes in. Then what we do is we go into this practicality part of it. Remember I mentioned, what is the desired outcome that somebody has? What is that desired goal that they have? that they want to accomplish, that they want to achieve? What is that thing that they want to get out of working with us? Whatever you did to get somebody into this presentation, whatever marketing, whatever advertising you used, you got to have some kind of a hook that's going to promise an outcome to people, that you're promising to walk them through some kind of a process to get to an outcome. And so in the middle of our sales presentation is where we can actually deliver that portion of it. Right in the middle of it, we talk about the tactics. We talk about the how-to. We talk about the process. Because now this portion right here, this is maybe going to be about 33% of the presentation as well. So we got 33%, 33%. Let's say it's an hour-long presentation. This might look like the first 20 minutes. This is going to look like the second 20 minutes, 20 to 40 minutes. And then the last part right here is the final 33%, which is, 40 to 60 minutes long. And so in this part, you're going to deliver what you promised in the beginning part of it, in what you brought them into. You're going to actually give them the secret sauce of whatever that is. And what you want to do here is you want to deliver something that is extremely valuable, something that people would pay a lot of money for, something that you've charged a lot of money for. One of the biggest mistakes that I see that mentors and coaches make is that they hold back in this portion. Here's the cool part about it. The reason why we have the vision and mindset part right here is we are qualifying, and actually I'll say this, is that we are making sure that the ones who get those practical parts, they are going to have to sit through an initial portion of this where they get to prove to us that they are worthy to listen to this part of it without paying for it. Because if you're giving it away for free, you want to make sure that you're giving it to the right people. And when the right people hear the vision and mindset, and then you give the practical frameworks, you give the highest value of what you have to offer, what you would charge money for in this part right here. And by the way, it's whatever you can deliver in 20 minutes. I can't give you my whole framework for my business in 20 minutes, but I can give you one or two pieces. Right now in this video, I'm literally doing that with you. I'm giving you a blueprint for what you can do to get more clients in your business. In my accelerator program, I show you how to attract those people to you. We have tactics and strategies to walk you through what to say, how to say it, scripts that you can follow to know exactly what to go through to get those clients to convert, and then how to close more sales in your business. So in this middle portion right here, that's where you go through that aspect of it, is where you deliver high value. This is where you deliver your content portion of it, whatever you're going to be teaching. And you don't want to over teach. What I recommend is do like a bird's eye view. Imagine a checklist, like you're going down a checklist of ideas. And one of the things that we can do is we can even use artificial intelligence to help us map a lot of this out right here, which is really awesome. That's one of the things that I enjoy doing, is using AI to help me come up with, how am I going to break this down? What are those steps that I'm going to take? I take some of my transcripts from our sessions with our clients. I bring that into the AI and I have it break it down that way for me. These are some of the things that we teach you inside my accelerator program, is how to do this, how to use AI to be able to automate a lot of these steps in your process. And I'd love to see you in there and working with us. Again, now you might notice, even in this video, I'm talking a lot about my accelerator program. And you want to do that in any sort of sales presentation. Is that no matter what you're selling, no matter what that thing is, you want to find a way to bring it all back to that. You want to bring it all back to the thing that you are selling. So even though you're delivering value, even though you're walking people through a process, even though you're showing them something that is extremely valuable, that is worth a ton to them, you're looping it back to the part where you're going to sell, which is in the last portion here of this. And this is where you go all in with your sales presentation. One of the things that you want to have is you want to have on your website, the best way to close your sales through video is to have some kind of a page where you can take people and walk them through the thing that you are selling them on. Such as right now we have a free class right here. Again, you can see this. If you're watching this video later, you might find that we have a different class that we're hosting. But this is the current free class that we're hosting right now, where we walk you through how to use Facebook ads to get more clients. We're going to be launching a new class here soon about how to start your business. All that to say is that you want to have a page developed where you can walk people through and down this process. So this is what we call a landing page. I have a number of different videos on my YouTube channel all about creating landing pages that you can go through. And on this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through this with them while they're on the presentation. I'm going to walk them through step by step everything that is written on this page. And what that does is it allows us to be able to show them, not just send them a link, not just say, hey, go check the link out later, but I'm able to actually guide and direct them through the purchasing process. And I get really confident, I stay excited, and I expect that anybody who's still watching me right here, and by the way, you're going to have a drop off of people. If you have, let's say, 100 people who start watching your presentation, by the end here, you're only going to have about 50 that are watching at this point. You're going to have a drop off of people that stopped watching. And so this 50 who stays into this part right here, if they continue watching through that sales pitch portion right there, they want to hear that. And so this is one of the things to do, is to assume that anybody who's still listening to you selling wants to hear a sales pitch. And so don't hold back. Don't hold back your energy. Really start to deliver. Start to talk about what the benefits are, why they should jump in. Get very direct with the fact that it's one of the best things that they're going to experience, that they can go through, and it's going to get them results. And if you do this, if you're able to walk people through this process, then you are able to close more sales. And one of the best ways that we do this is that we walk people through a process that we call 4 pillars, 3 transformations, and 1 big outcome. And so the way that that is that on a piece of paper, we show people what are the 4 pillars of what we are selling them. If we're a coach, if we're a mentor, if we're a course creator, what are the 3 main problems that we solve and transformations that we bring in their life? And then what is 1 big outcome? And so the way that we draw this is I'll draw this on the whiteboard, or I'll have a graphic that I'll actually walk people through this on screen right here. So the graphic looks something a little bit like this, okay? So like for my accelerator program, this is exactly what we walk people through. And in my presentation, I actually pull this graphic up on screen to show people this, to walk them through these different stages of what it is like to work with us. I help people find their niche if they don't know what it is, how to write their sales copy, how to optimize their content, ads, and funnels, and master sales skills. This is how we take people from total beginner to being able to close 6 and even 7 figures in sales. We take them from, and then, so those are the 4 pillars, what we teach. And then you can see the triangle right here, what is around the triangle, the 3 transformations. From complicated messaging to persuasive messaging. We're transforming their process into that. We're transforming their life from low impact to massive impact. We're transforming their experience from sporadic income to consistent cash flow. Okay, whatever business you're in, whatever coaching business you're in, you can fit in your business an outline of this and actually structure this to whatever it is that you're doing. And then financial and time freedom. And that's in the middle triangle right there, because that's the ultimate outcome that people are going to experience, that we're taking people into. Because that's the real want and the real desire that people have. The only reason why people build funnels, the only reason why we're coaching is we want to have impact, cash flow. We want to dial in that messaging, but it's really, truthfully, not just for those reasons, but it's so that we can have financial and time freedom in our life and have the kind of impact that we want to have to be able to help people and to really live a life that we enjoy for our families and to change our future together. And so in my accelerator program, that's exactly what we work with you through. That's exactly the process that we walk with you through. And that's exactly what you want to do when you're selling in your business, is that you want to come up with your version of this, where you're going to write out these 4 pillars. You're going to talk about what is pillar number 1. Like I said, finding your niche. What is pillar number 2? The sales copy. Pillar number 3, we're going to optimize your campaigns. What is pillar number 4? We're going to help you sell so that you can have, and then we draw that triangle right there, so that you can have the messaging, the impact, and the income, so that you have financial and time freedom. And I kind of scribbled that out really quickly, but that's really what it is. And so what it does is it draws them inward towards this real existential idea and goal and desire and dream that they have. So you can deliver all of this information, all of these transformations, all of that stuff like that, but this is really what's going to close people as a sale. is they're going to be able to really get a vision for how it's going to work with you. You're going to solve these issues. You're going to help create these transformations in their life. And you're going to actually help them build a new life and a new version of themselves that's going to be able to get everything they want and experience the kind of results that you promise in your offer. So when you're selling, you got to have some kind of an irresistible offer. This is a great way to have structure to that irresistible offer to be able to express it with people. And by the way, this is something that we found almost by accident, but we discovered this because I noticed a number of different people were doing presentations that we were looking at. And oh, by the way, here's another tactic for sales. Go watch other people's sales presentations. Pay attention to their energy. One of the things you can do is on Facebook or Instagram, you can actually click on advertisements from other coaches and mentors, and you can go through and look at how they present and how they sell in their business. I purchased 2 courses this week from 2 essentially competitors of mine because I wanted to see just 1 or 2 of the nuances of how they would be closing the sale in their process. And I was like, okay. And I learned it was worth the investment I spent. I spent about $70, and it was worth the investment to figure out in about an hour exactly what that nuance was that I was able to then borrow and we can bolt on in my business. And so that's one of the best ways to discover how to show up, how to communicate, and how to sell, is to look at other people's that are successful, their sales presentations. If you see somebody who's got success online and you see them delivering a presentation, you might say, well, how do I know if they're delivering a presentation? Let me tell you this. If anybody is giving you content that's free, at the end of the day, there's something that they're selling or offering in it, okay? And that's okay. That's not a bad thing. That's by design. But if you do it well and if you do it properly, you're going to be able to give tactical knowledge, tactical advice, and be able to deliver those results to people. You might notice, again, in this video, I was actually pretty much selling you on working with me in my accelerator program. This alone was a sales pitch in and of itself. But I was able to bring it all together to show you how to communicate in a way that is effective and that actually works. And I gave you a lot of tactics and a lot of strategies that you can do. Now, again, I'd love to see you on one of my live classes. I'd love to see you in my program. And I'd love to work with you to help you get results so that you don't have to struggle in your business and so you can start to get more coaching clients, course clients, consulting clients, whatever that is in your business as well. I'll talk soon. Have a good one. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.